Reasons to Stop Renting. I'm joined with Catherine and Amelia. Ladies, tell me the advantages of owning a home.
Well, you get to build your own wealth. What do you think?
It's an investment into yourself, so you can put your money towards something that you're owning rather than someone else is owning.
Absolutely, and oftentimes renting costs the same, sometimes even less than renting.
So, renting, you have to pay someone else. Now, what does that money go towards? Does that go towards their warranty? Like, what does that mean?
You're paying them for the use of their home, so assuming they have a mortgage in place, you're paying their payment, or you could easily be paying for your own mortgage payment.
Right, so the prices would either be lower or stay the same, depending on.
It can. I mean, I think what we'd like to highlight here is the reasons why you should stop renting. One, owning a home is oftentimes, and this is across the country, except for the major metro areas sometimes, is cheaper to own than to rent. So that would be my reason one. What would you say would be the second reason?
I would say that right now, interest rates are at a historic low. So when you are renting, they usually ask for first month's rent, last month's rent, a security deposit, a pet deposit if you have that, all these different fees that are, add up to a large lump sum of money that you could be putting towards a down payment. And with the interest rates being lower, you're able to still have that same monthly payment and a home either at the same price or higher, and your monthly mortgage payment doesn't go up.
Interesting. So let's say you don't have enough money to purchase a home, or that's what it seems like. There are loans in place to help you purchase a home. So what does that mean?
That's called down payment assistance, and it depends on your individual's qualifications. There are various programs. But the point that Amelia was making is that by the time you add up all of those deposits, first and last months, etc., you probably have almost all of your down payment already. You just don't realize it because down payment sounds so much larger. Another big thing with the interest rates, for example, if you finance $300,000 today at 3%, your principal and interest payment on that is about $1,200. If we wait and the interest rates go up, say 6 months from now, because we don't know what they'll do in the future, but let's assume they increase to 4%. That same $300,000 loan, principal and interest, goes up to $1,360. That's $160 extra every month for the same house, same everything, but it costs you another $2,000 a year. Like, that's a lot of money. That's a luxury vacation.
And you're putting that money towards your owning instead of, someone else's owning.
And it all adds up. At first, it doesn't seem that bad, but then it just builds. So let's talk about FHA loans. What are those? How do they benefit a potential buyer?
I think that's another good option for somebody who's thinking about ownership. It makes it easier to qualify. Oftentimes one thinks, I want to buy a house, I need to have perfect credit, I need to pay off all my debt, etc. My FICO score is I might have a little blemish here or there, but that's actually not fact. You don't need perfect credit score. What has been your experience for the average FICO?
The average FICO that would needed for FHA is around 620.
Okay. I think with most lenders, we may run into, especially now after the COVID-19 guidelines and the changes to the financing, it's going to be more like a 640 minimum. But that is still considerably lower than, say, a conventional financing where that's often in the high 600s, almost 700s to make that pencil out.
So, equity, what is that? That's an advantage for home ownership. How does that benefit you? Short term, long term, what does that entail?
I think that's my favorite reason for ownership. Because when you rent, you know the rent is going to go up. Never does your landlord come and say, guess what? Now that we're renewing, we're going to lower your rent. That never happens. What does seem to happen across history is that property values go up, and that's your equity. You paid $300 for your home, and 5 years later that home is worth $330, $350. That extra $50,000 increase in value, that's your equity. That's the money that you've made simply by living somewhere. So when you own a home and equity rises, property values go up, that money is yours, and then you can do whatever you want with it.
Right, you can, improve the home. You could buy a fixer-upper and put some money into it, and that adds value to your home and more equity there. There's definitely great deals to be had out there. So it's a great investment into yourself, and you can hold on to that equity forever or use it to invest again.
Yeah, and I think that's something that scares a lot of people who are looking to rent. They want something, what if you don't want to stay in that home after a year or 3 years or whatever? But equity allows you a little more leeway, so you can just leave like you would rent or terminate a rent lease, right?
Absolutely. It's yours. You have the power. You're not bound by any one term. If you needed to, you could refinance and get your equity out and use your cash for school. I mean, you don't have to use it to reinvest in the home. It's just, again, building your wealth. It gives you access to something else for yourself.
And so let's talk about tax breaks, which is another pro for purchasing a home. What does that mean?
Well, when you purchase a home, you're going to borrow money. The banks charge you an interest. That is their profit. But that interest is a tax write-off for most individuals. So in addition to gaining equity, when it comes time for you to file your tax returns, you can deduct taxes and other expenses like property taxes. So it makes your annual tax liability as a citizen, as a resident, much lower, and that just adds to the little bits of savings that you can add to your bottom line every month.
So let's elaborate on let's recap all the pros. What do you guys think is the biggest thing, bottom line?
I think even if you think, oh, I want to buy, but I want to buy something that I like more, so it's going to be bigger and it's going to be slightly more in monthly payment. I think it's really important to compare it exactly, because it's never going to be apples to apples. It's not just the payment, it's the additional tax break, it's the long-term growth in your own wealth. All of those numbers add up beyond just tax savings, beyond just equity, definitely beyond just a monthly payment. So it's an opportunity to save money now, save money for the future, and give yourself some choice. It'll be an individual decision for anyone, but we can review your options.
Yeah, definitely.
And just buying a home, being a homeowner offers more freedom. You have the equity, you have the tax breaks, and saving cash is always the way to go. So
I agree.
Definitely. You don't have anyone else's terms or regulations to follow. It's yours.
And if you're still on the fence, you can always contact real estate experts like Catherine and Amelia to help you, and they can do the math for you even better. So thank
Yes.
you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks.